Hi everybody and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Josh. I'm a designer here at Sizzix and today we are talking texture roll. Now before I go into what texture roll is, we're also going to be using some of our brand new Chapter 2 embossing folders. So these are our 3D embossing folders just like this one. We're going to be talking to you about this fantastic technology a little bit further on in the video. But first, the brand new texture rolls. Now what's brand new about them? They're coming in these really nifty 6-inch widths now. So we have the matte grey, we've got the tan, we've also got matte white, we've got rose gold, all of our classic metallic colours. We've got gold, silver, black as well, and we also have a cork texture roll. So these are really great to work with. I didn't know what they were to start with because I'd never seen anything like this before. They come in these rolls like this. They're really hard to tear. So it's 300 GSM, so it's quite thick. And you might be thinking, well, what is the difference between cardstock and texture roll? We're going to show you that now. Now, it has a few other capabilities. I've got a sheet of our rose gold texture roll here. All of our texture rolls are tan on the back, apart from the cork. So you're going to have kind of two different sizes unless you get in the tan, because it is sometimes nice to have the tan on both sides. For instance, when you're making a wallet. Well, why did I say that? It's because you can stitch it. So it's got all the capabilities of cardstock, apart from the fact you can use it like soft craft as well. You can stitch this stuff together and it doesn't lose its integrity. You can also get it wet, which means you can use it for things that are maybe going to get wet, so something that you might be using outside, for instance. And also, that means that we can use it with our water-based acrylics and inks and things like that. It's just really fantastic stuff. But let me show you some of the capabilities of it now. Now, this is the rose gold. What I'm going to do is I am going to crinkle it all up. Now, I could have done this with some of the matte, because I'm going to show you what it looks like as a journal cover a little bit later on. Now, you might want to take the time to really scrunch this up with all your might. I like to twist it. And you can see its durability while I'm doing this. It's just great stuff. And twisting it and creating this effect is almost like embossing it itself. It's like if we had an embossing folder that was a leather look embossing folder, that's almost what you're getting. Now, here you can see, I'm just going to open it back up. Just look at this fantastic effect that we've got here now. Now, you can use this in loads of different designs. Now, here's one that I pre-scrunched. And I have spray mounted this onto a sheet of our matte board here. So this is the mixed media board. And I've just spray mounted it, so we've got the lovely creased effect, but we've also got the sturdiness there, so that we can use it with a die. Now I'm going to bring on the Big Shot machine. You're going to have to bear with me at the minute, because I don't have my Big Shot Plus with the big long plates to hand, and that would have been really handy, but I thought I will use this opportunity to show you how to go about it if you don't have that to hand. Now I'm going to lay my creased edge, so this is the edge that has the texture roll on it. I'm going to lay that over my die here. This is one of Eileen Hull's scoreboard die sets. Now the texture roll is the perfect accessory for one of these die sets because, again, it's thicker, it's more durable, so backing journals is one of its really great selling points. Now I'm going to just take that halfway because I haven't got enough cutting plate to make it go the rest of the way. But what I'm going to do, I will now take this off, making sure not to move the part that I've already cut. I'm going to move it to the other end And then I'm going to line up my cutting plates on the other side. Now, because I haven't moved it, those grooves where I've cut are going to meet up and we're going to get a fully cut product. And have a look at this. So let me just move my big shot away. Now look at that. That is a pre-cut journal cover with that fantastic wrinkled leather effect that I got just from scrunching some of our tan texture roll. Now this being a scoreboard, I can just fold it along those crease lines there, and we're creating a fantastic journal cover. Now these journal covers, they're great with the texture roll. This could be sold as, you know, a really nice little luxury journal. Now have a look at this. This is another USP. With it being non-porous, we can dry brush this and we can use certain effects on it that we couldn't otherwise use because cardstock might lose its integrity. But we've been able to dry brush this and create an even more kind of worn leather effect. How cool is that? Well, this is another one of the Eileen Hull scoreboard dies here for a journal cover. And this is all just tan texture roll with some inking and some dry brushing. So that's great. So there we are. There is just one thing that you can do with it. Now, I went and found a journal lying about, and I thought, you know what would be a really easy thing to show people that you can do with this fantastic product. So I got some of the gold, I wrinkled it for that leather effect, and this just makes a really nice binding for any journal. Have a look at that. And the fact that it's so durable, that's not going to rip, it's not going to tear, it's not going to get wider and come apart. It's sturdy, it's really sturdy stuff. Now durability is the word, isn't it, for this, something like this. But as I say, as well as having the capabilities of being able to stitch and being able to, you know, get it wet, use water-based mediums on it, we also have all those capabilities of cardstock at the same time. So that, guys, is like magic. We have the white here. Now, because this is white and because it's matte, we're going to be able to use this in the same way we use cardstock. So I thought I would show you how we can blend ink on this surface. So I've just taken some Distress Oxides. We've got Victorian Velvet and Weathered Wood. Now if I pull this way, thinking on that the subtitles in this video aren't blocking what I'm doing. I'm going to blend that Victorian Velvet all the way up, maybe make it a bit darker down here. And isn't this fantastic that we can use it in the same way as cardstock? We're able to ink blend on it. So we're using it like cardstock, but then also using it like leather. And you can use it like our soft craft materials. So I'm going to come in on the other end, some of that weathered wood. I really like this colour blend. Like so. If you haven't seen the multi-tool before, this is the best inking tool ever. Just look at that blend. So white on one side, blended on the other. And then we can either scrunch that up and create that nice scrunch feel, but I thought I would take this opportunity to show you how well this stuff embosses. So let me bring my big shot machine back on. And I'm going to put this in. Well, which one should I use? I'm like a kid in a candy shop here picking the best one. Do you know what? I'm going to go with the Organic Petals embossing folder here, which is this lovely one here. Now, the 3D embossing folders, they're impressive as they are, but when you use them with the texture roll, which, as I say, is a bit more durable, has a bit more give, you can get an even more perfect emboss. So, I'm going to layer it up. I'm going to put it through the machine and just wait for that hey presto moment. Now, as with all embossing folders, 3D embossing folders, we're going to put them 3 times through the machine. And I learnt that off Mr. Tim Holtz himself. We remember it. It's a 3D embossing folder. We put it 3 times through the machine. Have a look at that. Isn't that great? And you can see on the other side we've got the true emboss there. But I'm showing you this deboss on the coloured side there. Now let's pick another embossing folder because I'm going to create a make with this. Now we've done scrunching it all up, we've done embossing it. Sometimes it is really nice just to leave it like this because the actual effect on this, it's not like cardstock and it's not like anything really. It's very smooth, but we've got those kind of organic grains that you can see in there, which is really lovely. But I am going to take this and I'm going to take, now for this make I've chosen paisley. So I could have chosen the Starscape here, which is great. I could have chosen pinwheel for another effect. But I wanted something really timeless. So I've gone with paisley, because paisley is always in style. So, you don't need to wet this material. So when we're embossing with cardstock, I often say wet it, give it a spray, cover it on both sides before we emboss because it's going to loosen the fibres in the paper and it's going to stop it from tearing or anything like that. But we don't have to do this because, as I keep saying, this is a more durable material. Now, when we're embossing, we take the first leaf off the top of the multi-purpose platform. So we take this part off and then you just use the one cutting pad because the embossing folder itself, it actually works like a cutting pad. There we are. So we're going to go through. Have a look at this. This is paisley. So I'll move this again to one side, not destroying everything. Have a look at that emboss. Is that not fantastic? Every time I take one of these, either pieces of card or especially the texture roll, out of these embossing folders after embossing, I'm always astonished at the result. That's really lovely. So I've got one that I created earlier. It's that here. Now all I'm going to do, because this is a feature in itself, the colour of this is really lovely as it is. All I'm going to do is just adhere it down and add a few little bits. And I think you're going to like my sentiment. So stick around to see what the sentiment is at the end. There we go. I'm going to make sure that it's equidistant on all edges there. So we're getting it truly centered, because there's nothing worse than when you've tried to center it and it's just a bit off. It's great when we're doing it intentionally and we've got that deliberate angle on there, but not when you're trying to get it perfect, like I have now. So there, the card's starting to come together. I've pre-cut this This is I suppose it's called a chevron. Now I've just taken some of our opulent cardstock and I just cut this with some of our scissors. Now I'm going to add a tiny bit of glue at the top. Don't need to be precious. And just stick that down there. I'm not going to stick it on this end because I don't mind it coming up a bit. Now while that's doing its thing, I'll take a little bit of foam tape and I'll prise that up here. Peel off the protective layer, and all we're going to do is stick that down. And that card, ladies and gentlemen, is done. So it says, like Paisley, you'll always be in style. Because as I mentioned, Paisley is always in style. And that is actually it from me. So there are loads and loads of examples of why this texture roll is just a really fantastic tool. It's something that I hadn't seen until we brought it out, and it's something that I'm going to continue to use time and time again because it's just got all those capabilities that I hadn't seen before in just one product. It's like multiple products in one. You've got that cardstock element, and then you've also got the soft craft element where you can stitch it. You've also got the scrunching it up element. I mean, just look at the effect that it has. Now that, it looks like gold leather. I really, really love this stuff. So, I hope you've enjoyed the live. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with at home when you are using texture roll. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.